Hi and welcome. Today we're going to talk about Solopreneur's workflow, that is designing a workflow from idea to business and scaling. And in this lesson, we are going to cover the 7 basic steps that we can achieve this. But before we do that, we are going to talk about the legal structure for your business and how to select it, which one works best, and the financial structure, and then we shall move to the business processes in which we have um, designed it into 7 actionable steps. So let's get started. So let's start with the legal structure, and there are 4 main legal structures that you can set up a business. And the first one is doing business as, which is the business name, and the next one is limited liability company LLC, and the third one is corporation, and the fourth one is solopreneurship. So let's look at each of these and see what each entails. And for doing business as, this is just a business name under which you will be conducting your business operations depending on your country. And it simply states who carries the liabilities and assets of the business. And there is no distinction between the business and you. It is just the first point of separation between the solopreneur and the business. But when it comes to legality of it, it is not recognized as a separate legal entity. So uh, this one provide the basis for launching, provide the basis and launching step for your business. It also gives you the professional look, as it can be used as the first point of separation of the solopreneur from the business. And using this certificate of registration, for example, this is mine, Dolan Managers, and you can see I first registered the name, I secured the name, and I operated with this from 2nd of September 2023 before I incorporated into Dolan Managers Limited. And with this, I was able to open a separate account for it, which gave me more flexibility. Then I could win contracts, write contracts as a separate entity. And with this, I was able to have that look of a professional, because many businesses don't want to work with an individual, because an individual can change, and then there is more exposure when you're working with an individual than when you're working with a business, because an individual can vanish, but a business can be sued. There is more accountability when you're working with a business instead of working with an individual person. And therefore, this one, doing business as, which is the business name, it is one of the first point that you can. And mind you, when you have this business name, using an example here in Kenya, and you want to incorporate it, that is convert it into an LLC, you just apply for cessation to convert, and then you pay for the conversion, and that's where you add your shareholders and everything else that is included in a limited liability company, and it becomes a separate legal entity. So it is good to start with doing business as, that is a business name, and then transition as the need goes. So that is the first legal structure. The second one is the sole proprietor. This is um, the most closest to business name. And here you run the business under your name. There is no distinction between you and the business, especially when you're working as a person. And therefore, for this, there is, you are the business. Okay? And business is you. You are liable, you are fully liable for all the liability like debt, tax, fines, everything of the business. It is you. Even when it comes to taxes, filing of taxes, you are taxed as under income tax, and this is one of the most highly taxed tax. If there is something like that, that is the tax rates for income tax, they are the most, they have the highest rate compared to other structures. And so when you're working as a sole proprietor, you're more exposed as a business owner. And so it is best, if you're not looking to expand, then you can use sole proprietorship where you are working as an individual. Then you can also use sole proprietorship if you're doing business part time and don't have any future of upgrading or expanding your team. And so this one is going to expose you more, and you have limited growth capabilities. Most businesses that I know of, and I have been dealing with businesses since 2018, most of them, they do not want to operate with an individual person. And when you take that proposal as an individual person, you are going to get some roadblocks, because they know they can take advantage of you. And most of them, they want to incorporate you into their workforce so that they can pay you less. And when you are presenting yourself as a person, what happens is that you don't even have the justification for your cost most of the time, because they deem that uh, the operations are going to be operated by one person, so the expenses and everything that you are going to do to fulfill the order, then they assume it is going to be less, and therefore they expect less quotations when you are working with an individual. But when you're working with a company, a different entity, so the dynamics tend to change in your favor. Because, for example, when you are here in Kenya, when you are doing an invoice, there is tax compliance. So the invoice is supposed to be generated from the KRI, which is our revenue authority. And for that, they capture the transaction for easy filing of returns data. This is especially if you are in the VAT category, and you must be tax compliant. So when you're working with a company and you are sole proprietor, it exposes you. You are supposed to apply for a VAT capability or that tax bracket, and it is even exposed you even further. Okay, sometimes you might even lose the project because they see you're not even prepared. Okay, and with that is the sole proprietor. There is more damage than good when you are doing business as a sole proprietor. The the third one is the limited liability company, LLC. And depending with where you are, for example, former British colonies like us, and even in the UK, you are given the extension limited. And in other countries like the United States, they just state LLC. But for us, it is limited. For example, my company, Don Managers, it ends with the suffix limited. But if it was incorporated in another country like the US, it would have been Don Managers LLC. And why is it? First of all, this is the most effective legal structure. It separates the owner or the owners from the business. You have the ability to have partnership, and also you have the ability to expand your team as the needs grow. And the business is recognized as a separate legal entity, depending on, regardless of where you're operating from. The business stands on its own, it has its own legalities. If it is sued, and then the owners or the directors or the shareholders, they are only they are only termed as second respondents. So you are protected. Your assets, they are not exposed. They cannot be liquidated because you are limited. Okay, you are indemnified, and to a point where The shares that you have, that is what that is what you are required by the law to cover the liabilities of the company. So let's say, for example, you have shares worth 100,000. So if the business, maybe it is fined or it is sued by a client and you lose the case, then as the owner, you have um, a maximum of 100,000 that you can pay, okay, to offset that liability. But I'm not a legal expert in this. Maybe you should check with your state. And so in this structure, it is either limited by guarantee or by shares, and owners are not exposed as in sole proprietorship, and tax obligations are handled separately from that of the owners. So in here, I suggest that you are not paid by the company, and then you transfer all the expenses of the business and sometimes personal expenses to the business. Some of them, they can be handled like fuel, lunch, the meetings with the client. Instead of getting cash from your pocket, you can transfer the cost to the business, and then it will be deducted from the revenue that you are going to make, and the income is going to be taxed differently depending on what you are doing. For example, here in Kenya, um, for us who are in the management tax bracket, we are charged 5% withholding tax, and 5% of the total income that we get. Especially for us who are also working, we are getting our income online. So they are trying to tap a new market because it was no longer there. It was not in the business categories. But I understand in other countries, this one has been happening a lot, and maybe um, you have been taxed like any other uh, company out there, which is around 25 to 30% of the total income. And it is understandable, but the good thing with limited liability company legal structure is that you're not exposed. Secondly, you have a separate avenue for everything. You have the ability to get a separate, you get a separate pin for tax. You have different employers. You have employers pin, and then if it is health insurance and everything else, including health, housing, retirement benefits, policies, all those, you have those flexibility and protection as a company compared to when you're working as an individual. And therefore, this one is the most suited for any person who wants to remain anonymous. And one thing that I have been experimenting with is stealth wealth, depending on the pronunciation. This stealth or stealth, but it is stealth wealth, where you want to remain anonymous, but getting wealth from your other hustles. Okay, maybe your part-time jobs. So, but you are not, nobody knows that you are generating this wealth, and you can only do this if you have LLCs to cover you. So if it is a rental property, you can put it under an LLC, and then once you have systematized everything, it can be run on autopilot. And if it is another, maybe a brick and mortar company, you can do the same. But as a person, you are not going to be exposed. Nobody will come after you. Okay, and this legal structure, it is the best to go for if you want to do this long term. Okay, let's go to the next one, uh, which is the financial structure. I'm not going to touch on the corporation legal structure because it is irrelevant for us as solopreneurs. And when you reach that level of corporation, uh, maybe you need somebody else to come and help you do it for you. Okay, but for now we're just starting. So you only need to understand the first three. That is entrepreneurship, sole proprietorship, doing business as, and LLC, that is limited liability company. And this one is the financial structure. What we mean by financial structure is how are you going to structure your business financially so that it is set up the way it should be, and you do not get mixed up in the financial angles that affect many business owners. And according to a research, 78 by this research was done by FreshBooks and also Freelancer Association survey, and they said that 78%, 74% of freelancers and solopreneurs, they suffer from financial angles, which is also brought by variability in income and also lack of consistent clients across the year. And so if you're not set up well financially, you're going to struggle too in this area. And for the financial structure, we are going to start by setting up separate accounts for yourself and the business, regardless of the legal structure that you are going to take, whether a personal approach or the business approach. For the personal approach, if you are going to go the sole proprietorship route, that is, you are going to start as a freelancer, then you have to separate the accounts that you're going to receive the money for personal use and also for the business. So use separate accounts. And this one is okay even if um, you have existing accounts, you can just dedicate one for the business and another one for yourself. And this is even more important because it will help you to track your personal expenses and that of the business and document them either weekly or monthly. Okay, so that is the second thing. After you have separated the accounts or registered a different account for the business, always track your personal expenses and that of the business and then document them weekly or monthly. But in my case, I would suggest that you do them monthly if you are not getting consistent work or cash flow. But once cash flow starts to set in and you have not automated, you're not using any tool to capture all the transactions, I would suggest that you do them weekly with daily journaling if possible. And then after you have tracked your personal expenses, the next one is to track the revenue and its generation for easy filing of returns. And here you are going to track everything that comes into the business, either as a payment or an account receivable. So you're going to document it and capture it. Once you have done that, then it is even easier to file for tax returns because all the documents are up to date. And then set aside some of your cash for investment in the business. And here we talk about 30% of the total revenue is supposed to go back to the business to help it grow. For example, you can invest in better equipment, uh, better computing systems. You can also buy a software or buy a subscription if maybe you don't want to have an offline system. And from the 30%, you can do a lot, either monthly or yearly. 30% it's a good percentage because you remain with 70%, which will offset most of the expenses, both personal and um, and business expenses. Okay, and then the last structure, that is the last thing that you need to note when you are setting up the financial structure of your business is to prioritize business needs before your own. And for this, there's a whole lesson dedicated to financial management. But just wanted to state this so that it becomes easier for you when that time comes. And financial structure is one of the best. It is one of the best skills that you can hone in. And once you have mastered your finances, everything else starts to move smoothly, because money is the mover of the business. If there is no money coming into the business, then it means that your business is crippled, and there is no mobility from a crippled system. And therefore, make sure that the needs of the business come before your own. Okay, now let's move to the business process. And for our system, we have simplified into 7 steps. And the first step is ideation, the second one is business setup, then the third one is online presence, setting up an online presence. The fourth one is acquisition, delivering value. Step 6, financial management, and step 7 is scaling. And we have identified these in the order of priority. You cannot scale before delivering value. You cannot scale before you have mastered your financial management. You cannot have client acquisition without delivering cannot have client acquisition before setting up the business, and therefore they must move in a chronological order. And let's start with the first step. And the first step, the goal of the ideation is to validate your business idea and define your niche. And here, in this step, that is where you prove the concept of your business. That is, you prove whether the business is going to take shape, going to succeed or not. And it is marked up by four steps. And the first step is to identify your skills. Then after identifying your skill, you do market research. And by market research, we say that you are going to do a research on the need or the demand for the skills that you're having in the market. And then after you do that, then you refine the skills with your skills and curate them with the market demand. And then from there, now you can pivot and find the niche that you can do most and have most of the income. Okay, that is, it has the most potential for you to get an income. Then after that, you test your idea by offering services to a few clients at a discounted rate. And then from the few clients that you're going to get at a discounted rate, then you can gather feedback to refine your offering even better. And so let's start by identifying your skills and passions. So that is the first step. So you list at least these skills and interests that you have as an individual. For example, you can have writing, graphic design, coaching, etc., etc. But you list at least 3 of your skills and interests. That is, what are you interested in and what can you do? Okay, so maybe you are a technical person, maybe you are in the web design, or you are a programmer, but you have a passion in writing. So at least when you are coming to the field of solopreneurship and freelancing, you are better placed because at least you have 2 things to offer. You have the skill of a developer, and you have a skill of writing, which is content writing, or online content writing. And therefore your offer is even more curated and desirable from a client perspective. And from there, you do market research on demand. And here you're going to use Google Trends, Upwork, or LinkedIn. And these are, you can use content marketplaces and freelancer marketplaces like Upwork, Fiverr, and Freelancer. and you are going to key in the skills that you are providing and look at what the clients are offering. Also, once you have done that, you can use Google Trends, and Google Trends will tell you how the skills that you are searching for, how popular is it. Okay, for example, let's say you are a tech person and you do content writing. You have a passion in content writing, so you might search a long tail keyword like SEO content writing for tech startups. And once you have done that, then you have to define your niche. And here you combine your skills and passion and the market demand. For example, from our previous long tail keyword, that is SEO content writing for tech startups, then you might find that you are more geared towards eco-friendly and sustainability. And therefore, you can now define your niche by that you help eco-friendly brands create SEO optimized blog content. So you see what we have done there. Now we are not doing just content writing for tech startups, but we are doing SEO content writing for startups that are eco-friendly. You see? And then after you've done that, now that's where the last step comes in, which is to test your idea. And here that's where you offer your services. Now you have defined your niche. Now you provide your services to a few clients. Here you can start at freelancer marketplaces like Upwork, and you pitch, and then after doing several orders, then you can gather some feedback from them, and then from the feedback you can refine your niche. They will tell you where you are doing wrong, and then you will see it even in your freelancer profile. These guys, they will, maybe if you're not doing the right thing, the milestone, they are not going to be paid. There is going to be an issue with the payments. There is going to be an issue with the project fulfillment, and they will indicate the reason as to why they did not get value from your work. And with there, now you have an idea. Now, once you have an idea, the next thing is to build a business behind the idea, that is to back up the idea. And that's where the second step comes in. And here, the goal is to legally and financially establish your business. And from the legal structure that we had, we have like four stages. 4 stages of setting up your business. And the first stage is choosing your name. And the business name, it should be unique, but it should also describe what you are doing. For example, at the Dolan Managers, the business name is Dolan Managers, okay? So for us, nobody is called Dolan at our business, but we saw, or I saw, that I was doing management services, and I was dealing more of ensuring that my clients get more money. They are getting more results from my services, which is business IT and management. And therefore I saw that the way to label the amount that they are going to get is by the currency. And the most stable currency right now that is everybody knows is the US dollar. And therefore, since, for example, a person who identifies with a certain country, we add an AN suffix to show ownership, okay, or belonging to. And therefore, for us, that's where the word dollar came from, because we identify with money, and from the money we manage it and help you even get even more money. That's where dollar managers came from. So for you, you can do anything, but they should be unique and describe your brand. That is, what do you do with your brand? For example, if it is an architectural service, and maybe you are doing tiny spaces, tiny spaces or you are doing the modern minimalist, or the spaciousness, that is more space, blah blah blah. I'm not more conversant in that area. So it can be unique, maybe unique architects, can be maybe Nexus. Um, you can combine two words for brandability, because finding a domain name when you're setting a website, finding a domain name with one word, it is very hard. It is very hard. Most of them, they are either premium or they are already taken. And when you have that light bulb moment that this is going to be a very good name, when you go to search for it in the Whois database, you get that the name is already registered. And therefore, before you think of a name, think about the other step, which is building an online presence. That's where your domain name will come in. There is no point of setting up a business and then end up struggling with a domain name. And here I'm suggesting that you start with an AI tool which is going to generate some names for you. For example, you can have Namelix. Yes, Namelix. It is a business name generator. It can be a stepping stone. Yeah, a stepping stone. You can also even use ChatGPT by giving it prompts. You can describe. Sorry. So you can describe what your business is going to do, what are your brand guidelines, and then it will generate a unique name for you. But most of those names, they are already taken. Okay, so it will give you ideas, but it's up to you now to combine those ideas, give them meaning, and have a unique business that is going to be identifiable with you. Okay, so make sure that the business is unique and reflects or describes what you do. That is the first thing. Secondly, ensure that the domain name um, is available. That is, you can search at Namecheap or Whois database. You can search, and then they are going to give you. And here, opt for the .com extension. Okay. Then after you have gotten your name, now it is a time to register your business, and you can decide. You have to decide on a legal structure. Is it going to be a sole proprietorship? So if it is going to be a sole proprietorship, no need to register it. But if it is going to be a doing business name as an LLC, make sure that you do that. And then after that, after registering with your business registration service in your country, then you need to have a physical location or a registered business premise in which you are going to operate in. For example, there are states in which they allow people to work from home, so they have to register and be given permits. That is mostly if you are going to meet people. But if you are freelancing, don't think you need to have those licenses, unless maybe you are dealing with in an area that you must be a licensed professional. Okay, for the sake of legality and compliance with your state laws. Okay. So after you have done that, maybe you have your name, you have registered it as an LLC. Now you set up the financial system, and the financial systems, it is specifically opening a bank account. It can be a checking account, as it can also be a savings or an express. It depends with the package that the bank is going to give you. And here, it gives you the ability to collect money from clients, pay your employees, put on standing orders. Some even have overdraft services. There is checkbooks. There is also okay, financing, asset financing. You have access to loans after you have a turnover, that is 1 year turnover, they give you a loan limit and overdraft. And then you also have the ability to automate your system, and which even makes you even at a good place to file your returns. For example, the bank that I'm using ABSA. They have the package in which business owners they file returns for the business owners if you have a business account with them. It is a very good idea. It is a very good package because I am sure that at the end of the year, I don't have to go and manually type in and do the calculations, blah, blah, blah. No, they're just going to create everything for me. So if there is expenses categories, yeah, they are going to state, and then after that, they're going to file it for me. So that's a good way of doing business. That is, you automate and set up financial systems that are going to work for you. Apart from setting up the bank account, you can also set up accounting accounts and softwares. So here we are talking about either Wave or QuickBooks, and if you're not going to use those two, you can use a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. So here you are going to create a dashboard in which you are going to key in different elements with the needs of your business. And that's where we are talking about tracking and documentation. In accounting, we call it journaling. So you journal it, and I don't have to do the double journaling. Okay, that is debiting and crediting. No, you can just do just the right raw way. That is, you just state what comes in and what goes out. Okay, and that is going to be a good structure for you as a business owner and as a solopreneur. So lastly, when you're setting up your business, now you're going to use you need to have contracts, and this one is going to set the legality of your business, determine the work. For example, it must include the scope of work, payment terms, and termination clause. This is because you have to protect yourself, your workers, and your revenue and the income that you're going to generate. And most employers sometimes they take advantage of the contracts, especially when you're not prepared. They will come look for loopholes and then take advantage of you, and there is nothing you can do about it, especially if you don't have any work agreement or any legally binding document. Okay, and therefore have those templates in place. If you cannot generate them, maybe if you don't have the know-how, you can find a legal person, for example, a lawyer. You are going just to pay a small fee, and then they are going to give you one. And in this course, at the end of the course, I'm going to link a few templates that you can use and add your details for legal compliance. Okay, now let's move on to the next step, which is online presence. And for online presence, the goal is to create a professional brand that attracts and retains clients. And it is defined in 4 steps. That is, you have to create a website, then build a portfolio. After building a portfolio, then you have to set up social media accounts from which you are going to market yourself and market your best work. And then after you have done all those, then you optimize for SEO so that you can rank on search engines. So let's start with the building of the website. So when you're building your website and maybe you don't have money to hire a developer, you can use WordPress plus free themes to get a simple yet professional looking site. And when you're creating a website, make sure that you have content for home, that is homepage. You have an about us, you have a services page, and a contact page where people are going to get your contact information. And once you have done that, maybe you have to decide whether this website is going to be a one page, a website which have one page, which is home, but has all elements. This is like a landing page. So it is going to serve as a home, about, services, and contact. So it is going to cover everything, and even has a form in which you can submit a query, you can capture leads, and even give out a proposal. So after you have done that, you have created a website. By the way, when it comes to creating a website, I highly suggest that if you don't have a technical know-how, please hire a developer so that you can have a clean-looking site. Because it is like sending someone to a YouTube channel which doesn't have content. So what do you suggest? The person is not going to come back again, because when they came to your site, they never saw it, or they did not see something worthwhile to keep them there. And when they see you, they are going to associate you with unprofessionalism. So just hire a developer, and if you don't have a developer, you can make use of us. Can create a good site. Yes, a good site for you. A very simple one to start with, because I know when you're starting out, most of us don't have the finances, and therefore we are going to use free themes and WordPress, because 66% of all the websites, they are run on WordPress. So it is one of the best content management software that you can get on the net. And therefore, you can holler us up, or you can go and build it on yourself. You can use the templates that are there. That is the theme. They are just website templates, which you can use and customize them. And I prefer that you start by using Bluehost. So Bluehost has the best offer in my case, because with one purchase you get up to 10 websites. That is, you can upload, or you can create up to 10 websites with one single purchase, whether it is the basic or the professional or the enterprise one. So I'm going to leave a link to that, to Bluehost, so that you can check them out. And when it comes to hosting, you can also use Bluehost for shared hosting, which is the best. And then you can link all your sites there. But once you grow and you surpass the 42,000 visitors per month, now I would prefer now you advance to a cloud-based hosting service, and that's where I prefer Cloudways. So for most of my clients who have a high traffic, most of them, they are run on Cloudways, because cloud hosting is faster. There is more accessibility. The interface is better when you're working with a cloud-based platform. Although I'm not saying that the cPanel on Bluehost and other services is wrong. No, I'm just saying from my own experience that once you surpass the 42,000 per month with page views, please advance to a cloud-based hosting and consider Cloudways. Okay, I'm going to leave the links in the description of the course lesson. Okay, and once you have created the website, the second one is second step is to create a portfolio. So here you are going to showcase your best work with descriptions and testimonials. And it doesn't necessarily have to be real work that you have done for clients, because when you're starting out, most of us don't have work that we have done. Some of us, we don't even have the first client. And so I believe that by the virtue that you're here, most of us, you do not have even one order that you have done. And so it might be hard for you to create a portfolio. So what do? The best thing to do is this, and this is what I did. Go to a content marketplace like Upwork. Search for the work that you are providing. Maybe it's graphic design, accounting, management, HR, virtual assistant, all those tasks. You are going to see some most of the jobs that are there within your skill. And then you don't even have to pitch. Just take the project description and then work on it. After you have worked on it, then you save it as a sample. And once you have done a sample, you are going to create a link in your website where people can come and see your best work. That is a portfolio of your recent work. If you're a graphic designer, your recent designs maybe if an architecture, different designs, maybe for 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, maisonette, all those stuff. Make sure you put your best work forward. Okay, don't have to include testimonials, but make sure for every project you have stated the project and its description. Okay, that is when you're starting out. But after that, the business model changes and you can play with different versions. For example, at Dollar Managers, we don't have a link to the best projects. Why? Because we have an NDA, that is non-disclosure agreement with our clients. So we don't expose what we have done with the clients. But when we are pitching, we have what do we call them? Dummy projects. Yeah? So we tell them after we have assessed their needs or they have as an issue or the pain points. Now we create a business proposal with the milestones, and it is most of the work is like 90% is evidence based and data driven. We use what we have done and what is available, and then curate the milestones according to what is going to work only. Okay, but we did not start there. We started small. I uploaded. In fact, since I did not have a website when I was starting, I I linked the work, the samples in a Google Drive. So I uploaded in one folder, and then I could share the link with my prospects when we reached the second engagement, because we do cold calling and cold emailing as the best platform or the best channel for reaching out to our clients. Okay, and so when we do that, now the client is able to see your capability and capacity. It is built with time. There is a theory in business management. It is called capability building theory. It says that you cannot just wake up and then you are able to do things. No. So you build your credibility and capacity to do stuff over time through exposure and repeated tasks and application of the acquired knowledge. And from that, you can transfer what you have learned from one project to another. And that's where professionalism kicks in. It is also the same with physics theories, which says that um, every theory they should work regardless of where you put it. That is regardless of the environment that you put it. So if it is a triangle, maybe these theories of Pythagoras theorem, blah blah blah, they work regardless of the situation that you put it in. As long as it's a triangle, it is going to work. So that's what we are saying about building a portfolio. And it shows that you have built the capacity and capability to handle the orders of the client. Now, after you have built your portfolio, the second is setting up your social media profiles. And here you can use LinkedIn, Instagram, or YouTube to share valuable content, or even TikTok. It depends on where your prospects are, and the decision on which profiles to create it is informed and guided by your prior market research, which will show you where your prospects are. For example, if you are geared towards businesses, that is small businesses, it would be a waste. Most of the time, it would be a waste to go the Instagram route if you are, unless you are in the food industry where there is visual merchandising where people have to see it and buy. And because for platforms like Instagram, most of the consumption behavior of the users is different. So they also this is also the same with TikTok. There is a fatigue of watching and consuming. Also, the age of the consumers. Most of those platforms, they are predominantly young, and most business owners, they are in their late 20s, early 30s, and adults or 45. So, in my case, most of the people I've dealt with, they are between 25 and 50 years. Yes. And most of them, you not find them on Instagram. Maybe you can find them on Facebook because they're trying to reconnect with their high school friends. They also want to see what other people are doing who are their friends. But some somewhere you can get real good deals is LinkedIn. Yes, LinkedIn and YouTube, because YouTube is going to allow you to share uh, yes, long form content, and the more you talk in a long form content like a video or an article, it shows people, it communicates whether you know what you're talking about or not, and therefore you build credibility over time. And that is the purpose of social media account. That is, it is going to communicate for you organically without you having to be there. Okay, so it is going to be used as one of the moving parts of your business in client acquisition. So you have set up you have created a website, you have built your portfolio. Now you have also created a social media account. So the last step in building your online presence is to optimize your website and your social media accounts for SEO. And SEO stands for search engine optimization, and this includes search engines such as Google. Google is a search engine. YouTube is a search engine. Instagram is also, they have search features. That's why you might post a reel, and over time it is going to get some traction. There is also Bing, even Internet Explorer. So there is even Yahoo, Onion. There's Brave, Opera, or is this Opera Mini? Yeah. So all those, they are web crawlers. So they search content and rank it, and therefore your website and the content that you post there, it has to be the best, so that it can be optimized. And when their prospects or the users of the web search for the key terms that they're searching for, they can get access to your content. Okay, so and for optimizing your website for SEO, one thing you need to do is to make sure that it is fast. And by fast, I mean it loads in less than 2 seconds. That is 2 seconds and below. And you can do this by making sure that you don't use many plugins or use a heavy theme. Yes, and the code that you are going to use is also light code, so that the pages do not redirect or have a lot of requests. Okay, and also you can test this with GT metrics. gtmetrics.com. You just type in the URL address of your website or the specific page that you want to test, and then they'll do it for you. But make sure you have cleared cache on your browser before doing that, because it can give you a wrong figure because of the archiving factor of most web browsers. So um, make sure that all the pages have relevant keywords, either long term, long tail, or short tail keywords. And here you're going to optimize for snippets, meta descriptions, and using a plugin like Yoast SEO, Rank Math, or Monster Insights. They are going to give you the basic requirements and fields for meta descriptions and snippets. They're going to show you how your website is good, or they're going to show you how the page you are creating is going to look like once it is published. Okay, and so you don't have to use the premium versions, but basic versions will do most of the work, unless maybe you want advanced metrics or capacities, which I don't think you need them until your business has broken even and it can pay for that. Okay, so make sure you do all that. After you have online presence, now we move on to the next step, which is acquiring your clients. And this is a client acquisition system, and this step is very important because the goal is to deliver exceptional service and retain the client that you get. And the workflow steps for this step is: one, you have to craft a winning pitch, and you have a template that makes your work even easier. And for this example, we are going to use email, cold emailing. Now you have researched your client, you know the pain points that they are having, you are aware of the industry that they are in and the results they are going to look for. And so the subject line is supposed to capture all that. It's going to capture the result that they are looking for or the industry that they are in. And the body now is going to indicate your offer. But you have to start by having a personalized salutation, which is hi and name, and that is going to be followed immediately by the pain point that you have identified. But what I know is that when you start by just stating the pain point, they block it because it seems salesy, and since business owners, they don't have time, they read a lot of emails which go through their system, and also don't have time for that. They are doing the real work. So your email is supposed to capture the attention and deliver and be short and precise and to the point. Okay, more on this later. So, but make sure that you compliment them, that is what they are doing right, and then state the pain point, and then also give them the solution that you are giving, and then finish with a call to action, which is: can we chat, or can we book an appointment, or can we talk about this, blah blah blah. It is a very good venture, and when you learn how to talk to clients, then the acquisition process becomes very easy. Then the second step is to leverage on social media. You remember we have set up our social media accounts. Now you have to leverage, and by leveraging we mean you post valuable content on the website, no, on the social media accounts, and here include tips, case studies, and testimonials. And this should include only your best work, because when you show mediocre work, it is going to be bad for you. So it is going to work against you, and therefore make sure that you are creating content that is valuable, value driven. Okay? And if you're not sure about this, you can leave it at the moment. Okay, you can leave it at the moment and do the emailing part. Um, and then you can build, once you get the momentum, now you can build your systems slowly, step by step. Don't hustle, but just a step. You cannot be doing everything, but you can do what really matters in each step. Okay, and then another thing that you can do when you have set up your social media is that after you have posted, make sure that you are engaging regularly with your audience. Why? Because it is going to give you an avenue from which you can communicate with them, understand what they are going through. You can ask questions, you can answer their pain points, and they can also even give you ideas on what to create next. After you have done that, please do networking. And here, if you are like me, you like to talk. Therefore, I I tend to pivot towards more of offline engagement than online engagement, because the nature of our business is we deal with real clients in the real world, and so unless maybe it is a client who is not in Kenya or within our region. Now that's when we do remote, yes, remote job. But like 90%, I, I do reach out to the client. So I prefer uh, exhibitions, business trades, trade events. Um, I also I also attend summits. Yes, and from there, I am able to connect with potential clients and even talk with other professionals, and you get a clear picture of your competition and what they are doing to be better at what they do. Okay, and then once you have strategically networked, you have leveraged social media, and then ask for referrals. So it can either be an affiliate program, or you can give incentives incentives to existing clients. So when a client comes into your door, you have closed that deal, then you can ask the client to refer you, yes, to refer you to their friends or other businesses which may be having the same issues. Okay, so the autonomy is very okay, and you can give them an offer, a discount, both the referrer and that is the referee, and the referenced. That is the person who has been referred to you. You can give them a discounted, for example, 10% off of the year project. But remember, every discount that you give, it means it is a loss or a lost revenue for your business. So give it sparingly. And the next step, once you have acquired, is delivering value. And the goal here is to deliver exceptional service and retain the client that you have already acquired. And here you manage the expectations of the clients by use of contracts that clearly define the scope, timeline, and payment terms. Once you have done that, you are going to protect yourself and the client from any future mishaps or uh, grounds for misunderstanding. And once you have done that, communication becomes very easy. And make sure you're communicating regularly with your clients. Send up progress updates and respond to clients' inquiries on time and very promptly. But be sure be sure that some clients, they require a lot of nitty gritties, and therefore keeping them on the toes with the information, it might mean that they are going to sabotage your your experience in delivering the project. Some of them, they might even be sending reviews even before you are done with the project, so making you not deliver on the time. So despite that, please make sure you are updating. You are updating, but yes, you're updating the customer, but managing the expectations. So they know what to expect, but just communicate within the scope, the timeline, and the milestone that you have set for every project that you have done. Then after that, please go above and beyond. And here I say, please under promise. If you want to manage expectations well, please under promise on the project and then over deliver. It is easy for you to under promise and over deliver than over promising, and even delivering it is going to be a problem. So because um, the client is going to have a higher expectation. Right now, we are in 2025. We are in the age of technological advancement, that is AI. So clients are expecting uh, premium services at a standard rate, because most of the tasks now they can be delegated, and therefore the standard is premium. So when you overpromise, it is going to eat back at you, and therefore the best way to protect yourself is to underpromise. Please underpromise and then overdeliver. So if it is a milestone, make sure you are underpromising. Although by underpromising I mean you're giving standards, you're not going above and beyond when you are promising. But when you are going to deliver, please deliver well, deliver premium quality, so that even the clients themselves they will give you uh, good feedback, and they can even refer you to their friends, relatives, and fellow business owners. So after you have delivered the value, now you do financial management. So in the financial management, we say that you are going to set up the financial systems. Okay, and here financial management ensures that you remain profitable and you're financially stable as a business. And there are several workflows. And the first workflow is to track income and expenses, and you can track them by documentation. You can use Microsoft Excel or QuickBooks to monitor cash flow. Then set aside money for taxes. Save at least 20 to 25 to 30% of income for taxes. Why? Because it is going to be a pain in the ass if you don't save for the taxes. And then don't wait until the end of the year to file your returns. Please do them in quarterly, that is in 3 months. 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. So if you do it at the end of the year, it is going to be a lot of money coming out of your pocket, and it is going to pain you. And therefore, I suggest that you do it in 3 months and save at least 25 to 30% for taxes. And then after you have done that, maybe you have your clients, work is coming in. Now you have to adjust and review your pricing, and this is going to be based on the value that you're going to provide. That is the perceived value, and the expenses that you are covering for providing the services, and what is the demand for the same in the market, what is the current market price for the services. So you have to review the pricing and adjust accordingly if you want to remain here. And then create a budget. Use the 50-30-20 rule. And although this goes for personal spending, it also applies for business. So 50% goes to expenses and investment, and then 30% goes for taxes, and 20 goes for profits and savings. So even the business is going to have a savings account, which which can be used in emergency situations. For example, maybe one of your employees has been arraigned in court, for example, because they don't have a practicing license, or your business has an unforeseen expense, and therefore the savings and profit is going to cover that before everything else comes in and be accounted for. Okay. Now, after you have done that, the last step is to scale. And the goal here is to grow your business sustainably without burning out. And how can you do this? The first step is um, do delegation. So delegate repetitive tasks, e.g., admin and design to freelancers. So this is the first step of expansion. So you don't have to employ anyone. You just assign to freelancers and you're going to pay them according to what they have done. Then after you have done that, then automate workflows. So you don't have to send emails, you don't have to go and do the market research. You can automate this. So for example, you can use Zapier to automate tasks like invoicing and email follow-ups. So you just create templates and then they have triggers. So if this happens, this happens. For example, if somebody was buying a service and then they did not complete their purchase, they can be the system sends an automated email to prompt them, ask them why they did not complete their payment, and with that, it takes away work from your hands and gives you back your time. After you have automated, then you can create passive income streams. Now you have launched your business, you have clients, but now you need to have something more to increase your earning potential. And here we suggest that you launch a digital product. This can be a book, a course, or a program that is going to show people exactly how you are delivering on what you are. Okay. And lastly, build systems. So document workflows and use project management tools like Trello, ClickUp, or Asana to manage all the projects that you are going to do. And with this, it puts you in a better position to delegate. It separates you from the business, and it also makes sure that you're not micromanaging anyone. Okay. And what are the next actionable steps for you in the next maybe 7 days? First, start with ideation. So use a niche selection worksheet to define your niche. And you can use tool like the tools you're going to use in the ideation process is Google Trends, Upwork, and LinkedIn. And then setting up your business. So register your business and open a bank account in your local country. And when you have done that, you can use Wave or QuickBooks for financial, and then WP legal pages after you have built your website. So it creates legal pages for you. Then when it comes to building your online presence, create a website and a portfolio. And here we suggest that you use WordPress as the content marketplace, and Elementor for designing the pages, and Canva for creating the graphics that you require for your portfolio, like covers. You can also do product mockups in Canva. And then the fourth is acquiring your clients. So you have to write and send your first pitch. And you can use MailChimp, Canva, or LinkedIn. So for MailChimp, this is for sending bulk email and automation of the same emails. And that is email campaign. Canva is going to be used to create graphics, okay, and the explanations. And LinkedIn, you're going to use LinkedIn to identify potential clients which you're going to send these emails to. And the fifth step, which is delivering value, you can use contracts and communicate regularly with clients. And how are you going to do that? The same. So you are going to use Trello and Google Forms. to deliver the same. Are you okay? So that is a delivering on. You can with using Trello. You can communicate directly with clients. You can manage your tasks well, and Google Forms, it is for collecting tasks and also feedback. And Wave is going to be used for documentation purposes. And the last one is the sixth one is managing your finances, and it's track your expenses and income and set aside taxes. So here you can use Wave, QuickBooks, or Excel, Microsoft Excel, or offline purposes. And the last step is scaling your business. That is outsource tasks and automate workflows. That's where we talked about Zapier, Trello, and Teachable. Teachable is for digital products, especially courses. Yes, it's the informational product. So Teachable is going to give you the ability to sell without breaking your website. And without, thank you so much for taking action. Thank you.